morning, Goldsworthy. How are you today? I hear you were fantastic yesterday. Mrs. K was so proud of you, and I feel so proud that you have shown us how responsible you can be and what hard work you've done and what a great little community you've become. So well done, Goldsworthy. We're going to get some yellow shining lights into that jar today. And the first person I'm going to ask to put some shining light into is AJ, because you persevered really hard at your spellings. And I know Mrs. Wilmot was talking about perseverance the other day, and Mrs. K said you persevered really hard at those tricky spellings. So well done, AJ. Go and put in one of those golden balls of light. Flynn, you were amazingly helpful apparently yesterday. A super community member for our class. Thank you very much for being so helpful. I hope you're going to help Mrs. K today. So you go and put in one of those shining lights as well this morning. Also, Monty and Ivy apparently did amazing writing. And so you can go and pop in a golden ball of light as well for that fantastic writing. And also Bertie, who did some fantastic writing. So well done, all of you. And thank you very much for working so hard yesterday when I couldn't be with you. And I'm sure you're going to be working just as hard today. So today, what we are going to be doing is to be looking at new words, words that we don't know, or words that we're not quite sure what are meant. And so we're going to start off by watching an animated version of Hand a Surprise. So in a minute, you're going to pause this video, and Mrs. K is going to put on a video of Hand a Surprise from YouTube for you to watch, which is lovely. And while you're watching it, I would like you to spot things that you're not quite sure what the names are, or things that you're not quite sure what they are even. And then we're going to talk about those words and their meanings. So we're going to pause it here and you're going to watch Hand a Surprise. Okay, so you should have watched Hand a Surprise by now. And I wonder what are the things that you have made on your list with Mrs. K. The things I've got on my list are, the first one is this basket. And there's a special Swahili word for basket that you carry on your head, which is a kickapoo, which is rather a good word. And that's a special basket that you carry on your head. And in Kenya and all over Africa and in India as well, and in other parts of the world, ladies and men tend to carry things on their heads rather than on their backs or anywhere else, because it's actually much better for you, because you're carrying the weight down your back straight rather than having to bend. What they do is roll a little scarf up like this into a circle, put it on their heads, and then put the basket on top. And I've got one of these, which you're going to have a practice and a try out next week and see if you can carry a basket of fruit on your head. But a basket for carrying fruit is called a kickapoo, which is rather fun. The next thing which I noticed, if we carry on a bit further, is, see if I can find the right one. Let's better practice this. There's the giraffe. Oh, I think I might have missed one. There. Have a look at that one. Okay, so here in the background you can see the horns of the antelope, which is a kind of deer, very fast, very springy deer called an antelope with these tall horns that sit up. And he is about to pinch the avocado. Who's had an avocado? Does anybody like avocado? I love avocado, but I didn't like it when I was your age. But that's a special green fruit. It's called a pear, but actually it's not like a pear at all. It's something more that you eat with salad, and it's quite creamy inside. And we'll try some next week as well so that you can see what that's like. So that's an avocado there, and here are the horns of the antelope, the deer behind. Now she keeps on walking, and you keeps on going, and we start to get to the village. But before we get to the village, oh, there we go. Something I want you to have a look at. Here is the tree which has got all the tangerines. Okay, now there are quite a lot of fruits that are a bit like tangerines, and they're all orange, loose jacketed fruit. So the skin is sort of loose, and again we'll have a look at those next week. And tangerine is an orange fruit that grows on a tree with a sort of loose skin. And this little house over here is very typical of the village houses in lots of parts of Africa. This story is in Kenya, which we'll find on a map another day, which is one of the countries in Africa. But all over Africa, these little round houses with a thatched roof, that's what we call a straw roof, a thatched roof, and they are called rondavels. That's their proper name, a rondavel, a round house with a thatched roof. Okay, so we're going a little bit further, and then we start to get to the village, and there are a couple of things here to see. Can you notice this thing in the background? That is a grain store. Now, they grow lots and lots of sweet corn in this part of Africa. That's their main kind of crop. They make their bread from ground up sweet corn. They eat lots of sweet corn. Their flour is made from ground up sweet corn. And they have to store it somewhere so it doesn't get eaten by the animals or wet by the rain. So they make a little straw and wood structure, and that's a grain store there, you can see. Now you can also see that these girls here, and the ladies as well, have got this colourful scarf wrapped round them, and it's called a kanga. And often they have it wrapped round themselves like a colourful scarf, but they also use it for using as a baby sling. I expect some of you were carried in a baby sling by your mums, or have seen people and have probably seen people carrying babies in a baby sling. Maybe not quite like this, often on the front here, but lots of the African ladies will put them on their backs with the kanga tied round them, and then it means that they can carry on doing their jobs. So those are some new words which I have described to you. Now, if we were going to write out the meaning of a word, we need to think really carefully about how we're going to do that. So I'm going to go back into this to try and find one of these other animals. To find the ostrich. Where's the ostrich? Is it here? Oh, there she is, running back. No, won't find her. Okay, we'll use, there it is. Okay, so there is the ostrich. How would I describe an ostrich? Can you pause the video for a minute and have a discussion with Mrs. K about how you would describe an ostrich? Okay, and I'm going to get my writing page set up while you're doing that. All right, so if I was going to write ostrich on my paper, you see that all right? Is that okay, or does it need to be bigger? All right. So we're going to have ostrich. Then I'm going to leave a little gap. Ostrich. Okay, so there's ostrich. I'm going to describe ostrich as a very big bird with a long neck, which is found in Africa. Okay, so I'm going to put a capital, because I'm starting a sentence, A, very, big bird. So I need a B, and then I need to make an sound. I think I'll use an ira, bird, with a long, neck, which, how do I do which? Oh yes, it has a W and then a H. Which, what, itch. Oops. Which lives, now I know lives has an E on the end before the S, even though I can't hear it. So which lives in Africa? Full stop. Ostrich, a very big bird with a long neck which lives in Africa. And that is my meaning of a word which I'm not so familiar with. Okay, now what we're going to do now is we're going to have a go at making our own little list of word meanings. And you're going to have a sheet which looks like this. Okay, and it has got pictures of all the things we've just talked about. The rondavels, the grain stores, the kickapoo, which is the basket, the lady with the kanga, the antelope, tangerine, and an avocado. Now you're going to have a go at either cutting out the names and the meanings and sticking them on in the right places. You're going to have to sound out those words really carefully. Or if you're feeling a bit more adventurous, you might just want to copy the words in beside the pictures and then write your own definition, just like I did for ostrich. So that's up to you. You can decide how you want to do it. Make sure your handwriting's really beautiful, and remember to sound out those words with capital letters and full stops. Okay, so I can't wait to see what you've done. Go off now and have a go, and I'll see you back here in a minute to finish off the lesson. Okay, so just before we finish, and I can't look at what you've done, but I'm looking forward to reading it when I come in. Okay, just before we finish, I'm going to read you a definition that I have written, and then you can see if you can guess what it is I'm describing. So this is a large fruit that's got a prickly skin all over it and some prickly big leaves that stick out from the top. And inside it's yellowish and quite sour. You do need a bit of sugar when you eat it. I wonder if you can work out which of the fruits that Handa put in her basket that I have just described. Have a chat with Mrs. K and see if you can guess it. And then when you've done that, perhaps you all can have a go at reading one of your definitions and seeing whether other people know which word you're describing. Well done, everybody. I'll see you soon.